Welcome to Actions Speak Louder, a new program about Dominion Energy's projects and community involvement. My name is Peggy Fox, and I'm Dominion Energy's Media and Community Relations Manager in Northern Virginia. I want you to know Dominion Energy is committed to sustainable, reliable, affordable, and safe energy. We are laser focused on reducing emissions and achieving our goal of net zero carbon dioxide and methane emissions by 2050. Actions Speak Louder is our motto because it's what we do that will get us to net zero. It also reflects our commitment to serve our customers well by providing safe and reliable electricity. Serving our communities well also involves community action. Volunteering isn't just encouraged at Dominion Energy, it's expected. With me in the studio is Eddie Brownfield. He's one of Northern Virginia's managers in charge of making sure electricity gets to your home or business. And Tara Richardson joins us on Zoom. Tara is Dominion Energy's Community Affairs Representative. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks, Peggy.
And so I want to start with Tara. How important is volunteering at Dominion Energy?
Volunteering goes way back to when our company was first founded. Just here in Virginia, it's been bred into the culture, if you will. It's just something unique about all of our employees. They have the ability to engage and the desire to go into our communities. We're very service oriented as a utility, but as a company, and all of our people within our company going out and doing things in our communities. There's never a shortage of people who want to go lead and people who want to participate, and it's just part of the makeup of who we are as a company.
So Tara, I joined the company about a year and a half ago, and I was swept up right away with talk about volunteering and projects going on, and it struck me that it really is part of the culture. How does that happen? How is it part of our culture at Dominion Energy?
I think just being a service company anyway, we are focused on being in that community on the ground every day. It's natural to the work that we do, and I think because our employees are out in the field, they see the needs in the community. They're very active within each of their communities, and they're not hesitant because they know that we will always respond when there is a need within the community. So there's never a shortage of employees willing to help out or willing to suggest projects to lead and get others involved. And it's pretty contagious, if you will. You learned about it, as you mentioned, early on in your days of joining the company. I think that we're able to go and meet the needs of our community and be part of the fabric of our culture in the communities. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think one project can lead to another project. And I want to bring Eddie into the conversation. You're the General Manager of Operations and Construction here in the Northern Virginia area. And I met you through a project, a volunteer project.
Yeah, that's right.
And you found out about that project from your brother.
Yeah, my brother works for a different company, and they started working with this Rock Solid Foundation program, which provides, one of the things they provide is play sets for children with pediatric cancer. And so through the education that I got, through the organization, we were able to pilot a project in the Reston area for a little girl last fall.
We're going to show a video on that in a second, but let me go back and ask, how long have you been with the company, and did you start volunteering right away? When did volunteering become part of the thing for you?
Yeah, so I've been with the company 26 years, and volunteering at where I used to work, it was expected, but not quite as much as it's become. And I've just noticed over the past quarter century, it seems like a lot, that we are doing a lot more and more every year, and encouraging more and more employees to get out and to sometimes do your non-standard type of projects, a little variety out there. It kind of keeps everyone's interest going and gets us to be able to reach out to varying sectors of people.
Right, exactly. So yeah, you talked about the Rock Solid Foundation, and this project just turned out to be a great pandemic project because it's outside, and it brought hope to a family of a little girl fighting cancer.
Sonia's a 3-year-old who has leukemia. She was diagnosed last summer and has been undergoing now 15 months of chemotherapy. which has meant that her immune system is really vulnerable. We've had to keep her at home essentially the whole time. And then quarantine, of course, only exacerbated that. It made it worse. So she's been pretty lonely, I would say. She had to leave her daycare and has been largely at home with us. So the art therapist who we adore at Inova Fairfax suggested that maybe we should think about finding good ways for Sonia to play at home, good options for her. And she was the one who suggested Rock Solid actually as an organization to us. We had never heard of them. And I went on to their website immediately and looked at their mission statement, and I read all about how they believe in the power of play, and it felt like a love letter directly to us. It just felt like it was meant for us, that they would be willing to build something that is so important for little kids like Sonia. One of the hardest things I would say after she was diagnosed was seeing how weak she was. She didn't want to walk or run, and we really struggled to encourage her to use her body like a normal kid. And I feel like a playset encourages her to do just that. She gets to just be a kid again, and that is the biggest gift I think a parent could ask for.
Don't lift on the green handles. Don't use the green handles. Watch your footing. Watch your footing. Watch your footing. Perfect. Get right up in the middle. Come on in. Going around, Patrick. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Roll it down. Okay. Watch your fingers. Go ahead. Come on down. Come on down. Now. Get in there.
It has been really fun to see them in all of their hard hats, and we talked a while ago about us putting up a playset, and frankly I don't trust myself to do it. It's fun to know that people who actually have the skills and the appropriate tools can be doing this, so it really feels like a gift that they would take their time to invest in the community like this.
The significance of today really was how much hope it brings to our family. I think, there's been a lot going on in the last year, not only with our daughter Sonia's diagnosis, but also with having to be stuck at home. And so I think for us, having this program and this organization sponsor Sonia and bring out volunteers from Dominion Power and set something up like that beautiful playground, it just has really been, it means the world to us. And I think really for our family, it's just being able to see Sonia smile again and have fun. It's just been a very bright light at the end of a very dark tunnel. Cancer, COVID, it's just one of these things that we're gonna push past it, and we're gonna, believe in humanity and believe in kindness. And so thank you all for coming out, taking your time, putting this together, and just giving this back to our family. One of Sonia's favorite things is going on the trails every day, asking to walk to go to a playground. And in this area, there's a lot of great playgrounds, and we always name them something fun. So we're so happy that we can call it Sonia's Playground, and she has it, and she can play whenever she wants. Yeah, it means a lot to us. So thank you guys, we really, really appreciate it. Stay, please go, Emma. Got it?
Good job, Soso.
Woo! Is
that fun?
All right, back up. Back up the ladder.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Hands out of your mouth.
What a wonderful organization. I was so happy to meet the folks from Rock Solid and to see this playset be built right there in a matter of hours. And Tara, I think it's the first time we've worked with Rock Solid. Is that right? Do you know?
That is correct, and I'm elated to say that other employees have learned about this organization, are bringing these projects in to get more of our employees involved throughout our footprint.
Right, and Eddie is going to do more, right? You brought it in,
Right.
because your brother had done it down in South Carolina, and now you're going to put it elsewhere, right?
That's correct. So we, in the electric distribution group, we're broken up into 3 regions. So we decided we would try to do one, we will do one in each region this year. So we're targeting somewhere in the Fairfax, Loudoun County area, somewhere around the Hampton Roads area, and then somewhere inside of Richmond. So what they need to do is to find the client or the patient, and then be able to set up the dates and have the build ready for us.
Well, when I saw that project being built, I mean, it's just amazing. The first thing that happens is they have sort of a little powwow. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Talk about that a little bit, because it really is inspiring, and you hear from the Rock Solid people and what they're doing.
Yeah, so they kind of give you an overlay of what they do, and talk about what the project's for, and about children with the pediatric cancers aren't able to go out in public, and then certainly with the pandemic, it really became a lot more of an issue for them to be out. So to be able to provide a play set at no cost to the family, and do it as a volunteer effort. Many of us were parents that were there that day, and so certainly when we did the unveiling, there were a lot of dry eyes, especially out of a bunch of really tough linemen. So it was just a great experience all the way around.
Right. Yeah, and it's just so wonderful to be able to do something for a family. I mean, the mom talked about how they're the ones who looked in. Someone told them about Rock Solid, and they looked into it, and they thought, maybe we could build this ourselves, and they were like, no way. So I mean, and here we are. We got all these technical people that can build stuff.
Oh,
right. It's
this is
perfect.
Right. This is what they do on a daily basis, right? Matter of fact, I think they're even more enthusiastic about doing this type of project than the normal work that we normally do on a day-to-day basis. But I believe that just the giving back, especially trying to do it with the local crews from the local resting area. These guys and ladies, they drive by this office or this location all the time. So it's part of their neighborhood too. So I think to be able to give back in an area that they can drive past later and see, maybe they see the little girl playing on the playground or whatever, just a lot of self-satisfaction, which is not the reason to do it, of course, but there is that incentive to do something good for someone else.
Well, and there's nothing that makes you feel better about yourself is to give to someone else, and it really puts everything into perspective, right? I mean, we've been through this pandemic, and we're all, kind of focused on just making it through another day. But when you're out there and you realize, oh my goodness, if I'm going to stop thinking about all my problems because they're not problems, and let's really do something for someone who needs some help.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of perspective, and I believe by bringing in Rock Solid and doing the play set build, like I alluded to earlier, is something different. So, there's a lot of things that we do repetitively on an annual basis, which is great, but sometimes it's nice just to bring in something that's a little fresher, a brand new idea, and then from there spurns other ideas. And so we're able to get a lot of great publicity for our volunteerism internally, and then our folks decide, hey, what about this, or can we try other things too? And it just allows people to funnel their interest into a project that they enjoy.
And your people really loved it, didn't they? I mean, they looked like they were having a great time.
They did. I mean, they still talk about it.
Right. And at the end, they each sign a little message.
Right. We all get to write something on the play set to the child.
This was Sonia,
Yes. And so from all accounts, she's doing well, which is wonderful.
Good.
So hopefully she's had, since October, plenty of time to be able to use the play set.
Yeah. So Tara, talk about, if you would, some other projects that have been successful like this.
Sure. So I have the pleasure of being able to be involved in numerous projects across our footprint. And I would say some of the ones that we have done in the recent pre-pandemic times that we could really engage numerous people. We did a pocket park renovation in the city of Richmond. It's just a very small neighborhood tot lot, and it needed some love, and we were able to get a group of folks together over 2 days to go in and renovate the park, plant some native species, shade trees to help increase parents' comfort at the park. We did a huge, what I tout the amazing cleanup race in Richmond in front of River Rock a couple of years ago, one of our big Dominion Energy sponsored programs. We engaged close to 100 employees to go out and race around the riverfront in the city areas to clean up trash and put some prizes around that. It was a ton of fun, a great way to bring folks together, especially when we're located, our headquarters in the downtown area of Richmond along our beautiful riverfront. Being able to go out and engage folks who may not normally be in that area It was awesome. Our outdoor classrooms, of course, up in the Northern Virginia area, they are wonderful. And we're in the process of going back now and refurbishing those because they have been well loved over the past few years. And I think we can all attest to the importance of being outside now that this pandemic has kind of forced us inside, if you will. And then I would be remiss if I didn't pull up our energy share projects. They are truly, truly at my heart because these are focused on engaging our employees to go in and help some of our most vulnerable neighbors, that they weatherize the home. And we're also able to, because of the great volunteer skill set we bring, do extra at those homes. The homeowners are always so appreciative. The employee volunteers love being engaged. And what I really love about it is, you know, we walk away from this one-day project, but this person who is the recipient, their home is now going to be more comfortable and have a lower energy bill for the long term. And we're also reducing that energy loss that was happening before we were there with the project. So those are always my favorites.
Right, right. Well, I know I've been out on a couple of events, volunteer events, and I have some pictures and video from some of them. But here in Northern Virginia, Dominion Energy employees volunteer in all kinds of ways. We have volunteer opportunities at local food banks, and we did one in 2019 at the National Capital Food Bank in Lorton. We have planted trees at local schools and have become mentors to elementary school children at a school for children with special needs in Fairfax. We put on our work gloves and landscaped their outdoor area, as well as restocked bookshelves and painted some bright murals inside. We've also been supporting Weekend Food for Kids, an organization that supplies food bags for children who depend on school food for nutrition during the week. And so now they have a bag of nutritious food to help them get through the weekend. So that's really great. And Eddie, I know that you know about Weekend Food for Kids because we put the food bags together in Herndon, at our office in Herndon. And then we actually have volunteers from Dominion Energy who use their big trucks to transport these huge bags. And I got to go with a delivery one time at a school in Fairfax County, and they're all Title I schools, so these kids are very needy. And you know, we've been involved with Weekend Food for Kids for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, I believe it's since about 2010 we've been doing it. And you know, statistically speaking, in Fairfax County, you know, one of the wealthiest counties in the United States, 1 in 6 children suffer from malnutrition, and 1 in 5 are either on free or reduced breakfast and lunch at school. And so knowing that too, that's great for 5 days a week in a normal schedule that they get that, but then also it's the concern about the weekends too. And so they get the bags of non-perishable goods. I think on an annual basis, it's between 10 and 12,000 bags that we put together. And it's on a monthly schedule that we do it. The volunteers come in. It's only about an hour.
Right.
We get a lot of donations, and we go out and we purchase the goods in bulk, and then are able to take it out to distribute.
And, you know, unfortunately, they can't be, you know, like fresh fruit and stuff, but they try to make it as nutritious as possible. You know, we've got breakfast food in there and snacks and, you know, proteins, you know, things that really can help kids get through a weekend if there's not a lot of food around the house.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the pandemic proved a challenge of that too. So instead of actually getting together in groups to bag it, we gave out gift cards to some of the local grocery retailers in an effort to be able to still provide that food for those children and their families.
So we kept it going.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and I have to mention this one thing. I mean, it was really great to go on this delivery and to be part of it. And, you know, we are doing such a great job, but here's something that really struck me. The coordinator at the school that we went to, she said that there are kids still on the waiting list for the Weekend Food for Kids. Like, we can't even, there's so much need that even this program, with everything we're doing, can't meet, you know, that need. So it really makes you think, wow, there's just, you know, there's a lot more work to do, right, to try to help everyone.
Well, and the great thing about us talking about this is it allows other companies and businesses to see that there are opportunities out there. You don't have to create your own opportunity. You can piggyback on one that's already there, because there's still there will always be a need.
Well, and you know, we at Dominion Energy, I mean, we have to balance, like, you got work to do. We've got to keep the lights on, so we can't, you know, we can't be doing volunteer activities if the lights go out. So how do we make sure, you know, I mean, I guess we just have to be careful on how much we agree to do.
Right. Well, and fortunately, as a corporation, all the employees receive 8 hours paid a year directly towards volunteer events during the work time. So that's, you know, with over 20,000 employees, you're looking at over 160,000 volunteer hours on an annual basis that's allotted for these types of programs. And then a lot of our folks will also then volunteer in some of these events, you know, after work or on the weekends. You know, the Wreaths Across America project. We have other projects that the facilities where we need to get into aren't open until after work hours, and a lot of our folks will be happy to step in to do that kind of work.
Yeah, it's really great, Tara. And I mean, I look at this also. Part of the reason I wanted to do this show was to, you know, to kind of show other people there is a way your company can get involved if you're not already. I mean, a lot of companies here in Fairfax County, I know they do volunteering, but maybe some aren't, or maybe there's some more opportunities out there. How does a company go about getting their people involved in volunteering?
I think it's really important, if you're not already involved, just to either, as Eddie mentioned, piggyback on some of these needs that already exist. There are so many great needs in our communities, and I think the pandemic has increased the need as well. And that could be directly with employees that are within your small business. But, you know, we can all look to see ways we can collaborate. The best things you can do, I would say, is reach out to your employees and see what they're passionate about, and then reach out in your community, because oftentimes your employees are a great source of knowledge. They're involved in some capacity already, and even if it's just once a year, the you know, camaraderie and the morale that comes from engaging in your community can go so far. And if you're a business that is able to offer, you know, maybe your surplus or your specialty on a pro bono basis in your community, that is a really great way to tap into what you already do. So you're not trying to learn or do something new. You already offer this expertise, and it is likely such a benefit to a nonprofit or to a local community member.
Well, you just mentioned that. It made me think of a nonprofit organization that we just came to learn about recently called Pink Space Theory in Woodbridge. Do you know about this, Tara? Maybe I'm telling you something you're not. But you know everything concerning volunteering. But we gave this organization a grant for them to conduct educational, like after-school educational STEM learning, hands-on learning. And guess what was one of the things they were teaching the kids? How to make wind turbines, which we're like, wow, we're really doing that. We're building an offshore wind project, so we would love to get in on that. And so we not only gave them the grant, but had 2 women engineers volunteer to help with the project, right?
Yes, it was wonderful to see the girls' excitement. And, you know, STEM has traditionally been a male-dominated field, but we are seeing the excitement and, you know, the ideas that are coming out of wind has been around forever. Science and technology has started taking advantage of that over the past few decades. But even what was already created, you know, a couple decades ago and been tapped into, it has gotten better. The blades have gotten better, and that all comes from the ideas that are generated through these great programs. And, you know, we never know what's going to come, where it's going to come from, but those ideas are out there, and tapping into those nonprofit partnerships where they are engaging the next generation. It's just an awesome way for us to tap in sort of that pro bono skill in the community.
And what made Pink Space Theory even more ideal is that they're focused on girls, teaching girls, because there is still that gap, you know, with girls not getting involved, you know, for many different reasons. But and so that's their focus, girls and also underrepresented communities. So here these middle school girls were, you know, coming from all different walks of life, and learning. They're putting their math skills to use, building their own like shaped blades to make these wind turbines, and then they would hook it up to a computer and actually see if it would work, you know, and they'd had a fan and coming in. It was so cool, really exciting to see, you know, a couple of our women. We have a lot of women engineers at
Sure.
Dominion Energy. I've discovered that, and just to see them engage with these girls, I thought, what a perfect opportunity. And you were talking about, you know, finding opportunities that your employees would be perfect for, you know, that already know, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Well, this is great, you know, STEM kind of projects like that, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think we get into a lot of other types of projects as well that really gets to the core of our employees. For instance, you know, last year or 2 years ago, I'm sorry, we did a project for an equestrian therapy farm, which was utilized to help veterans that have come back that suffer either injuries or PTSD or whatever.
Right.
And so we go out there and help, you know, freshen up the horse farm
Right.
and build structures and so forth for that kind of thing too. So we are really good at being able to find projects that hone in on interests of our employees to be able to spread the wealth, if you will, of our volunteering time.
I didn't even know about that, but that's what a great organization. And also, Tara, you mentioned some of the environmental projects that we do, the outdoor classrooms. We also plant trees for Project Planet, and we did one of those last week out in Lovettsville Elementary School. We planted a dogwood tree. And that's another way we volunteer. And a lot of people don't realize how involved we are with you know, environmental kind of projects.
We are absolutely involved. You know, we're in the community, and some of my favorite projects have been those that get our employees out hands-on. I'd like to say our frontline workers are incredibly brave. They are out there in so many conditions that most of us would never even tackle to get into. But when we talk about preserving the environment, creating sustainable projects, some of my favorites have been those where we've used our reclaimed poles that still have some life left in them. They may not be able to stand tall in the air and hold wires, but they can certainly serve as footbridges or you know, creating walkways, pathways. I've loved the projects where we get out hands-on and remove the invasive species and plant the native plants to help restore our natural settings.
Yeah,
there's
pollinators.
There's such a
Pollinators,
large
right?
amount of projects.
I know we plant a lot of pollinators too. We're really got a new emphasis on that.
Yeah, the rest stop up in the Northern Virginia area coming up 95, we did both sides in a partnership with VDOT to put in large pollinator areas.
Oh, that's great.
And then, you know, for the pandemic, one of the things our employees just got involved in is they received pollinator way station planting kits. So they could use those at home. And they also got litter cleanup kits. So they're able to use those continuously in their communities throughout the year.
We've got to go, Tara. I really appreciate you joining us. And Eddie Brownfield, thank you so much. Thanks for discussing Dominion Energy's longtime commitment to volunteering, why it's important, and how other companies and organizations can do the same. Go to dominionenergy.com and search Employees in Action. I'm Peggy Fox. Thanks for watching. Actions speak louder.